count of three, name your favorite dinosaur. Don't even think about it. Just name it. Ready? 1, 2, 3. Velociraptor.
What? Did we just become best friends?
Yup.
You want to go do karate in the garage?
Yup.
This is the Karate in the Garage podcast with Mason Merrill and Weston Toth. Welcome back to another edition of the Karate in the Garage podcast. I'm your host, Mason Merrill, and joining me today are our two co-hosts, Weston Toth and Aaron Bowen. What is up, boys?
What's up?
What up? It's weird having three people because I never know who's gonna need to go first and whatnot.
Yeah, it's okay. You guys just
You can edit out the silence. It's not a big deal.
Yeah, it's fine. So how you guys been doing? How's life down in Austin, Weston?
Man, doing great. I've just been having a completely wonderful spring, and I'm so happy, and everyone else is not. But dude, I literally woke up today with a smile on my face. I'm having a great time. So
yeah, well, one, your business involves a lot of driving, and you're an essential business, so like there's no probably not as much traffic going around in Austin right now.
oh yeah, dude, you literally hit it right on the nail on the head, because normally it takes me, like let's say an hour to get to my first client, and it's like literally 10 miles away. Like it's so close.
Yeah.
And now it's been 10 minutes. There's no angry drivers on the road or cutting you off. Just been so nice. The weather, 70 degrees here, sunny.
Nice.
It's great. So that side of it's good. Been able to play a lot of video games just like I normally do. Just keep my exercise program up. Been eating good.
Nice.
And saving money because we don't go out to eat as much. So that's a plus. And just been able to cook a lot. I'm having a great time. Life is good.
Yeah, man. Yeah, this quarantine's been pretty good to me too. I had to go to the nearest city, which is Amarillo, Texas, on Saturday. And dude, yeah, on Saturday it was like a ghost town out there. I'm normally like frustrated driving in the traffic there, and I was like, wow, this is so nice. If I was out, running the business like you were back in the day, I would be loving life right now.
Yeah.
Yep. And so it's nice and
That's
nice
awesome.
weather there, and it's snowing where I'm at, just a few hours north of you right now.
That's how big Texas is, boys.
Yep.
Oh yeah.
So how's life up in PA, Aaron? How's the couch?
It's terrific. Yeah, I don't leave the house. Despite being an essential business, which I'm not. No, it's awesome. I don't know. I've been working from home for like a year, and nothing's changed other than both of the kids are home all the time now. Yeah. But the liquor stores are open, so it's fine. Yeah. It's not a big deal. Yeah, it's been good. The weather's been nice. We got outside yesterday. Did some yard work and whatnot, which was super cool.
Nice.
And yeah, nothing too wild going on. Just been like Wesley said, just been playing some games and chilling out with the babies, and
nice.
And not making more babies because we don't. It's two is good.
Heck no! I saw your post about vasectomies yesterday. I was like,
Yeah.
That's exactly where it's going in my house.
There's not gonna be a baby boom after this. No babies.
Yeah, I saw your
not for the parents that already have kids. That's
for sure.
Right. So I saw that post, and you're so true. Like the people who already have kids, no more kids, but obviously the people who don't have kids and are just home alone bored, they're definitely having kids right now. There's going to be a lot of children.
Oh, for sure.
But I saw your post, and it was so true, because I'm sure just having your kids home all day is really nice because you can spend time with them, but also like, oh, I don't want any more of you.
Yeah, well, it's not even like a big deal like having them home all day. It's that we can't leave the house and go do stuff.
True.
Like normally, like we'd go grocery shopping together, go bowling, go to the park, whatever. Well, there's not a lot we can do, and the weather hasn't been so nice that we can like go out every day, all day in the yard and play. It's been like maybe an hour or two, and so they just get cooped up. And yeah, everybody goes a little insane, but it's all right. It's all right.
Yeah, same here. It's like our biggest outing trip, on a regular basis would be going to the store and checking out the toys and stuff, and going to the park and all that, and that's just totally cut out. It's like just go play in the backyard, and that only lasts for too long.
Yeah, exactly.
Are all the parks shut down where you guys are at?
They're not.
No.
like all the equipment is like roped off and shut down. Like don't go on the equipment, but you can actually walk in the park and things like that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just hasn't, the weather here hasn't been good enough to like go for like a full on walk down to the park and everything. You know, that's my big thing.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Well.
Yep. Anyway, so yeah, life in quarantine and all that stuff. But the game that we had chosen a couple weeks ago, and then we had that one last week, Looney Tunes basketball. We chose Super Punch Out after that. So another Super Nintendo game. Couple 16-bitters here in a row.
Back to back.
Yep. So this game came out in Japan March 1st, 1994, and in North America later that year in October 1st, 1994. So yeah, this was a boxing game, and let's see, it was so it was what was kind of your first impression of this game? Did you have any expectations for it?
Yeah, so you know what, I think that when I first started playing this game, I was thinking, or I don't even know if I've ever played this. I played Mike Tyson's Punch Out because that was like a special edition. So that's the game I was relating it to, and I haven't played hardly any other boxing games, but this was just like more of an arcade style, boxing game that you like, or maybe I played this one because it was on the arcade as well, or something, or a version of it was very similar, was on the like the arcade you could go to at Taco Mac when they had that or something.
Yeah. So I think Mike Tyson was the arcade one. Because that came out shortly after. They basically just branded this game with Mike Tyson since he was the biggest boxer in the world, I guess, in the 90s.
Oh, yeah. I mean, he still was one of the most legendary boxers of all time.
Yeah. Yeah, so there was a previous title prior to this, which was Punch Out for the NES, and it was obviously an 8-bit version of this. Yeah, came out in 87.
Okay.
So basically how the game works is you play as Little Mac, which in this game is a different model than Little Mac of NES, and then going forward to like the Super Smash Brothers and the other Punch Out games, but he's like a blonde buff dude in this game. But anyway, and he works himself up in the new 4 circuits, which were the minor circuit, the major circuit, the world circuit, and the special circuit. So that's kind of the overview of the game itself.
Oh, I didn't even know there was a special circuit.
Yeah,
I didn't see that
either.
I guess when you beat the game.
Yeah, once you get through the world circuit, I think it was like, hey, play the special circuit.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember I played this as a kid, we rented it, and it was one of those games that as like a young, like I guess like my brother, he played it and understood it, but as like a kid, I was like, I'm not patient enough for this game, so I just was like,
as an adult, I wasn't
in the first couple
patient
hours
enough for this game as an adult.
yeah, I felt that way. Basically, as we said, the game takes a lot of patience. Which is kind of boxing in general. If you've ever seen boxing, it's a lot of standing around, until somebody takes a shot. So, but yeah, you had a few moves you could do, like you could move around obviously and dodge and move backwards and cover your face and things like that. And then you had your left hook, your right hook, your hard hits, things like that.
Yeah, you had your basically your jabs, uppercuts, and then hooks and rapid punches, which was the special.
Yeah.
So, it was actually kind of accurate to if you've ever like boxed someone in real life or seen boxing, you're trying to either like avoid someone else's punches and counter, or just go in and do a series of punches before someone like basically starts blocking, and then your power punch, where you get a couple in, and then you could, if you timed it correctly. I actually watched a speed run of this game. Because a lot of these old games have speed runs, including this one did.
Yeah,
and
I've checked those out before too.
Yeah, I normally play the game for myself, and then I watch like basically a professional play it and see like what the difference was. And you could basically anticipate strikes, dodge, and then count. Like, people were really good at counters and buffering, which is basically like pressing the button even before the input would take it. And you could, so the speed run is like 15 minutes. That's like kind of like what one of the world records is, and it took me 15 minutes to beat the second guy.
Yeah, for sure.
The fatty.
Yeah, so to get to that point. So yeah, like unlike other games in the series, there are no rounds. It's not like you hit them and then you go another round, or you beat them and then you go another round. It's the matches take place in 1 3-minute period, and if you fail to score a KO or a TKO at time up, it is declared the match is recorded as a loss.
Actually, I didn't
So.
really get far.
No, I either I died or not died. I either got knocked out or I knocked out.
Either
my
I died or they died.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, you know, for you know, you got to be patient and like take shots at the right time. So once you get that down, you know, obviously the first few people are pretty easy to beat up, but and then it gets harder from there because you know it just gets we talked about it a little bit last week, but the fighters have kind of an algorithm instead of like a randomness to them. It's like a math problem, you know how they work. So you could kind of like stage out the moves after a few minutes, but then it kind of goes crazy, and that you know, that whole thing gets really unpredictable just right off.
Yeah, and so just to back that point up is basically the depending on which guy you fought, it was more predictable, but there was a couple of them that they went into a phase that wasn't predictable, and that was on purpose from the developer, because even in the speed run they were talking, the guy was like, oh yeah, it's a 50-50 whether we get the completely like it's going to be hard for me to do and I have to like react to it, or it's almost like a Pac-Man where like, you know, there's like a pattern to it.
Interesting.
So that's cool. Yeah, and that's probably where I went wrong after a couple of them. I was just getting my butt beat, but I was like, oh, this isn't too bad. And then after a couple of them, I was like, no, this is really hard.
I thought I had Piston Hurricane figured out pretty good, and I almost beat him a few times, and I just kept getting whipped. I only threw my controller twice, though, so that was pretty good, I thought.
So did you guys get into the major and the grand final circuit?
Nah, yeah, I got into the major circuit.
Oh, did you?
I was done at Bob Charlie. Yeah,
dude, I didn't even get past the minors. I had like 3 G&Ts yesterday, and I didn't have enough patience to play this at all.
That's good time. Yeah, I played before Final Fantasy VII came out, which we'll talk about later. So I played it a couple nights in a row, just trying to play, and then I was like, okay, I got a good hold on this game. But
I considered playing it earlier.
So just something to.
No. I was gonna say I considered playing it earlier today, but I've been having a good day, so I decided not to ruin it.
Yeah. So something that I thought was pretty cool, which I wish they would have done a little differently, is there is basically what's called a dizzy meter, like a stunned meter. I don't know if you guys ever did this, where if you started landing consecutive shots like over and over again, they would actually get dizzy, and then you could knock them out like preemptively. So. But the only thing about that was the game, you know, like in a modern game, that would have just been another bar that you could have controlled and then, you know, tried to land like the knockout. But this one was basically just an animation. So there was no technically in the game there is a hidden dizzy meter, but it just wasn't shown on the screen, which was kind of annoying. But that was it was nice. So like once you start getting the combinations that like on the second guy, dude, I lost to him like 4 times in a row. And then once I saw him getting dizzy, I knocked him out in the first, like he never got back up.
This is like one of those games that makes like modern gaming makes you feel so spoiled, because like if you play like an RPG or whatever, you get like the big, you know, the red circles and stuff like that. And you have like all these warnings going off that somebody's gonna do something, that a boss is gonna do something or whatever. And then this is just like so subtle sometimes what you have to look for. And like even knowing like on that Piston Hurricane fight, if you get knocked down or he get knocked down, as soon as you get back up, he is going to throw a haymaker every single time, no matter what. So you have to be ready to dodge it immediately. And you just have to remember all these little like you said, it's like a math problem, all these little things that go into each fight.
Yeah, so you had your actual moves where the jab, obviously the body blow, and the uppercut. So you jab him, or you just hit him straight in the body, or you just hit him basically in the face. So exactly. As far as, let's get into kind of the breakdown of, we've talked about the gameplay and kind of the overview. So let's talk about, how'd you feel about the graphics of the game? Like, it was very cartoony, obviously NES-y, but it was kind of a different take on an NES type style game. It wasn't like a side scroller or something like that. So how'd you feel about how everything was drawn in the game?
Yeah, I thought it looked good. I think I will say my favorite thing about the game was the intro. The little intro video was super BA in my opinion. I don't know, it just reminded me of like watching like a Rocky or something like that. But it's like you wouldn't expect something that decent on a Super Nintendo. But I thought it looked good overall.
Yeah, I thought it came in not animated nicely. Obviously a big upgrade from the 8-bit. But but yeah, the characters had different kind of different feels to them, and different one would move slower than the other kind of thing. So it was all animated really nicely. What do you think, Weston?
Yeah, it was pretty fluid. I liked how like at least the inputs for me, like going left, right, back, they were actually pretty quick. Which is not like it wouldn't be. That's not super common for some of these older games. Like they just had a little bit of like input lag, I felt like, but this one didn't. Which was nice. And then all like there was what 3, 9, there's 12, at least 12 different enemies, and they all had different animations, and they got hyped up, and they the fat guy would like he'd hit him in the belly if you did a belly shot, and he would just laugh at you. Like it was fine. Like I thought the animations were good, and like obviously crowds are hard to animate because there's a lot going on. But you kind of felt like you were in the ring because the crowd was like kind of cheering behind you, and it was like a first person view with him being translucent, which I liked. I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, and a lot of games back in this time period would just have just a straight background with no kind of movement and things like that, and the crowd actually moved in this, which was cool. Yeah, as you mentioned there, and there was 4 different arenas for the different circuits, and that was it. That was all the different levels. So there wasn't like you're fighting in the streets. It's all rings and all this kind of stuff. So that was a pretty cool format. The illustrations to me, I'm kind of looking at them right now. They kind of remind me of like an anime type feel to them.
Yeah, they kind of do. They definitely
like
have
a Dragon Ball Z-ish kind of thing.
Yeah, they had a very 90s or like late 80s, early 90s style of like character drawings for sure.
Yep, and so yeah, that was pretty cool. I thought that was done very well for this game and for 1994. So what about the sound? How do you guys feel about the sound? It was kind of just run of the mill for me personally. It was kind of repetitive and nothing much else to it than that. But what'd you think,
Aaron?
No, I don't even remember the sound, honestly. Like I remember me shouting at the screen more than hearing anything else. So
yeah, probably.
I thought it was lackluster. I mean, like same thing. The intro video I liked. I was kind of getting psyched. I was like, oh, this is kind of cool. Like the glove gets on and he grabs it. It's fine. But the actual music wasn't hypey, and there's so much better music that we've played on that SNES or games, the soundtrack. So I thought it was actually kind of low for me.
Yeah, I felt the same way. Kind of like last week with this is another sports game. Obviously, I think that was kind of just a running thing for sports games back then. Just kind of like they didn't put too much into the audio.
Yeah, definitely. I think the only games that were like super high quality on audio were like RPGs that people were so into like the world and what it meant, instead of just people maybe who bought this game back in the day were just like, oh man, we're just gonna play a boxing game. It's gonna be multiplayer. Just I don't know. They just weren't as invested. Whereas the real nerds that were building worlds like RPG games, they had really good soundtracks. But I don't know. A lot of these other sports games didn't. The what did actually? We played the baseball game. That was the best out of all of them.
Yeah, I did like that one.
Yeah.
That was really good. That was like the second game we played. That was
that was like one of the best sports games we played too.
Oh yeah, for sure. We played Madden and Looney Tunes basketball and things like that. But yeah, I definitely think that was the most fun one.
For sure. And obviously the golf Mario Golf was great too.
Oh yeah, that's a classic. So we've talked about gameplay, graphics, sound, and so kind of our next one would be replayability. Are you gonna pick this one up again and play it?
I know what Aaron has to say.
Yeah,
I have owned this game for 2 years, and I didn't play it until yesterday. And I don't think I'm ever gonna play it again.
Yeah, I'm putting this one to bed. I'm done. I think I would be interested to maybe play a newer version, because they've come out with obviously newer ones.
Oh yeah,
just to see how that works. But boxing's not a sport I really love or watch or anything like that. anyway, so it's not like football or anything like that for me. But yeah, this has zero replayability for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think so too. It wasn't like, here's the deal: is it almost felt like a bad, like, you know how, like, if you play a side scroller fighting game, like, I don't know, Mortal Kombat on Sega Genesis, like old school, those have a lot of replayability, or like old Tekkens. But it was kind of like you were playing that because you were dodging and countering and trying to like throw combinations, but it didn't have any like technicality of those games, or as good, and it was difficult as well. And you know what, this guy Dragon Chan, he used kicks in a boxing ring, and that would never happen unless if you're doing kickboxing, but this was a boxing. What? So that just like, I was like, wait, this guy's kicking me?
What is
this game is illegitimate right
what
there.
What is going on?
Yeah. No, literally, as soon as I saw Dragon Chan and he was throwing the kicks, I was like, oh, this game is completely ridiculous.
Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah, this is not. I won't revisit this game, but I'm glad I at least played it because I've always had that curiosity ever since basically Little Mac became his character in Smash, and that S bar on the bottom, that's like his super move in Smash kind of thing. So I've always been curious, and I don't even like playing as him in Smash really because he's kind of slow. I like the quicker characters. But yeah. Anyway, so it's just one of those I've always been curious about.
I'm happy we played it too because I've always seen like old school Nintendo games, like the origin, like Little Mac. Obviously, is pretty iconic, but I don't really want to play this game again.
Yeah, I kind of agree 100% with that. I might play it if like I'm just mad one day and I just need to like get even angrier or something. I don't know. Like if I just feel like I need to Hulk out, I'll play this game for a while and then like exercise or something.
Whenever, I was about to say, just go punch a punching bag or something. You'll get more out of that.
I mean, I do have a punching bag, so I might just do that instead.
That's what I mean.
Whenever I try to, my goal is to deadlift 600 pounds by the end of the year. And whenever I go for my 600 pounder, I'm just going to sit here and play it for like an hour. And I'm going to go and lift so easy.
Go get psyched.
Perfect. I'm honestly surprised you can't do that.
Also, Instagram live that junk.
I'm definitely going to do 500 and 600.
Dude, that's awesome. Oh, man. Cool. All right. Well, I think it's time to rank. And I think we're going to do boxing glove for this one.
Okay, so I will lead. How many boxing gloves out of 10? I'm going to give this game a 4.5. I think originally when it came out, I know people had to love this game, but it just does not hold up for me. Yeah. And the sound is bad, and I love soundscape.
Yeah. Aaron?
I'm going to give this a 5.
Okay.
Because I agree with Weston. I think this was a very novel idea back in the day, especially compared to other sports games of the past. It's a lot more detailed, I think, than a lot of older sports games as far as animation and things like that's concerned. I think the AI is really interesting well, maybe not AI, but how the fighters actually fight and everything. But it has zero replayability for me. It's just an exercise in frustration, and like 12-year-old me might be pouring quarters into an arcade machine to play this kind of game, but like I'm an adult man, I don't have time for this nonsense. I just want to I don't.
I agree with that. I'm gonna give it. I did not like this game. I'll say that just straight up. Like I didn't like it, but if I was a fan of the sport and I played this, as an adult back then, because that's really what it was more aimed at, is more of getting adults into the game and playing. But, I think it was really well made as far as it all went, and it was difficult. It wasn't just like you hit, punch, kick, kind of thing. You had to actually time out your moves and things like that. So I'll give it a 7 just based on that. But like I said, I did not like this game. I will not play it, and that's a lot of that is probably because I don't like the sport. So anyway, but it was a well-made video game though.
I like boxing. I didn't even like this game.
I was about to say I do know boxing, and I am like a semi-amateur fan, and this was not a good box. I mean, I'm telling you, dude, if they would have just made the boxers realistic and putting, like, I'm telling Dragon Chan trying to kick me. And some of these other moves these guys were playing, I'm like, like Honestly, the problem is, to me, is it was trying to ride the line of being serious and being like just a video game instead of it being like super serious and technical and like just like Mike Tyson, or trying to be really silly and just like have the guys wrestling half the time or kicking or whatever. It just was in the middle, which is the worst to me, because I'm like, wait, it doesn't do like appeal to either of those audiences, the really hardcore people who want like a serious boxing game, or just like the silliness of like a cartoon boxing. It was like right in the middle, which is, I don't know. But hey, that's your review, not mine. I know, and I mean, even
he's doing the ear slams. Like, you can't do that in boxing.
No, you can't. That's what I'm saying. Is like, it wasn't.
But
serious.
Mike Tyson bit off a guy's ear, had his bit off, one or the other. I can't remember.
He bit off a guy's ear.
Yeah,
he got kicked out for that.
Yeah, and he was also on cocaine.
Yeah, cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Yeah, good times. Yeah, he's probably still on cocaine somewhere.
No, man, I Mike Tyson's actually like, he's pretty. I've listened to a bunch of podcasts with him on it, and he's even though he talks the same and hilarious, but he's he's gone. He went to rehab and went to a bunch of therapy, and he's a pretty chill guy now, and he even talks about all his trauma as a kid, and it's pretty nuts. But nothing about
Craziness.
Mike Tyson. He did
sure.
bite a guy's ear, and I think he bit someone's foot too.
Oh, jeez,
that sounds about right.
He was coked out of his brains.
Good times. Yeah. All right, cool. Well, let's close the book on this game and move along.
Thank God.
Yeah, for real. Yeah. As just a side note, I ordered some USB controllers so I can play like with the actual controller for the game. They're really cheap. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I used a Super Nintendo.
Yeah. I kind of want more of the experience with some of these older games, especially too. So
true.
Check that out. I got a GameCube one. I got SNES and Genesis. So it was like $25 total.
Oh, nice. Yeah, I just use a Switch Pro controller because it's USB, or a Xbox One controller, because they work with the computer really, really well. But maybe I'll have to. Yeah, it's $25.
Yeah, I either use my DualShock or the one we got for mobile, or sometimes I'll use the Switch Pro. I have that one too.
Yeah, cool.
Pretty cool. Okay, so we're kind of moving away. I know you had like an article you kind of wanted to discuss. Weston, quarantine video games. Are the games good? Are games good for your mental health?
Yeah, because I just thought this was kind of interesting, because a lot of people are obviously quarantined and they're playing more video games. People that normally are not video gamers are playing. Like, for instance, my brother's girlfriend and her family, or another family we know, like that don't play video games. Like, the son has a Switch and his parents are getting it. Like, they just bought a Switch, and they're just a lot more video gaming is happening because of just I think people are bored, and they also want to do something and kind of socialize too. So I found this article basically says why experts say you should feel good about playing video games in quarantine, and it talks a lot about like when something's immersive and interactive, it kind of like helps your mind. Obviously it's just time spent doing something. And then if you're playing with people, you're connected with your friends, while you do something as well. So it's just kind of almost like another form of social interaction, but it's better for you. It's actually, it'd be more healthy for you because you're doing something semi-productive with your brain. You're problem solving. And then doing that, and then you're doing it with people, which is really good. And then there's a lot of games. There's a list of them here. Like, the biggest one being right now is like Animal Crossing or Stardew Valley, which is, these are all very like time, they take your time, but they're very relaxing. So I know that video games in the past have been, a lot of people have thought that they're mentally not healthy for you. Like, oh, people should not be playing video games and this, and why in my opinion, they can be that way. I just thought it's interesting how that's kind of turning, just like anything else, right? If you soak all your time into something and you're playing really dark content or you're not socializing with other people, of course it can be toxic. But it's, if you're doing it and the correct amount of time, it can be fun and it can kind of bring people together. So I thought that was just a little side note.
Yeah, no, I think that's a great point. Gamers obviously have been social distancing forever, like that's their whole MO.
Right.
So, we as gamers were born for this, but yeah, it's cool that like kind of the older generation is getting into it and things like that, because, a lot of the problem with games back in the day was, number one, the technology. It wasn't good to stare at that screen, which it's still not great to stare at a screen for a long period of time, but screens are so much better. They're not as hard as on your eyes anymore and things like that. So, unless you're like playing VR, you shouldn't do that for too long. But yeah, so with those kind of different advancements in technology, the social interaction of it, I think it's a great way to still keep in touch with your friends and still, have some fun and things like that. We've even had like family game night, over Zoom and things like that, which have been fun,
Yeah, absolutely. No, I completely agree with all of that. And that's the thing, like, like you said, Weston, I mean, they're back in the day, I mean, most video games were just like Twitch, a mile a minute, crazy games. And, it could get to the point, if you're playing certain games, that you get really like angry and frustrated all the time, like I did with Punch Out. But there's a lot of stuff that's, very, very relaxing and very chill. And I mean, can even still be an action-oriented game. Like I've been playing that Grid game on Stadia, and I love it. But it's like, it's not like super intense per se as far as getting worked up about it is concerned. And I think that's, a lot of older people can kind of find some maybe some peace in playing like Animal Crossing and things like that.
Yeah, it's fun. And even games we talked about, Tetris on here, how actually good it is for your brain. And then you think about the world esports is built anyway. Now you can be a gamer as a profession, things like that, so streaming and, kind of the digital age we've emerged into, where, a lot of the Gen X and baby boomers and things like that are still pretty hard against it. But this new age of gaming, it's just a staple of life, for a lot of people.
Absolutely. I don't have the XFL anymore, so I'm just watching Watch League.
Yeah.
So it's just kind of cool that they're basically seeing now, just with anything else, there can be a healthy side of it and an unhealthy side of it. And that's life in general. There's always, if you do something too much and you do it in the wrong way, it can be bad for you. And if you do it in the right way and you do it like the right amount of time with the right amount, with the right people, because there's definitely toxic, horrible gaming experiences you can have still with bad people calling you terrible names and telling you to go kill yourself, like horrible things. Or if you build, you have good friends like we do. You can play with people and play good games in the right amount of time. It can be enjoyable, and it's. The one thing I've always thought about games is, people watch TV mindlessly and soak in content that's not great for you, or can be not great for you, or can be good. The difference between watching a horror film or a murder movie versus watching a documentary or PBS. For sure, there's differences. And if you watch TV all day, you're wasting your life, just like if we play video games all day. But it can also be an enjoyable form of relaxation. So.
Absolutely.
Yeah, that's something that, like, back in when I was a teenager and things like that really hit my parents personally, was like, they were like, you're playing these games all the time. And I wasn't like an isolated gamer where I would go out and do things all the time, but sometimes I would get into something and, I just made the point to them, like, hey, like, you sit and watch whatever's on TV for hours at night until you fall asleep, that's just I'm doing the same thing, but I'm actually like playing a game and having to think about what I'm doing.
Problem solving.
And literally they didn't say anything else ever to me again, kind of thing. So it was like point made, so, there's a lot of arguments in each side, but it's nice to see, like, and I think that's something, like games like Wii Sports and Mario Party and those kind of have brought to the table with like the social interaction and the funness. And now, you can't go see your friends, so might as well play a game with them,
Absolutely. And I think that, I think it's the same crowd that's getting into games now hopefully will start to support esports a little bit more too. Because I think the point you made, Mason, about, playing games versus, somebody watching TV all day, the same point can be made, if you're a big sports person, but you don't understand why somebody would sit down and watch somebody play a video game, somebody else play a video game. It's the same thing, I'm not qualified to be on a football field, the same way I'm not qualified to, watch somebody play in, the Smite Championships or whatever, but it's still fun to watch. And you can definitely support those guys. They're very talented.
Yeah. So it's a whole new digital age sport athletes kind of community. So, and people train hard and play these games and get really good at them. So anyway,
very cool.
Cool, man. All right, I think that's a great article, a great point to bring out, kind of relevant to the situation we're in right now. So. Kind of leading to the next thing, which dropped on Friday, the Final Fantasy VII remake. Speaking of great games to immerse yourself in and a good story to jump into. Man, I've been playing it. I put about 8 or so hours into it, and it's so good. It's like there's no low point in it at all so far. There's just like tons of fun, and it keeps moving forward.
So awesome, man. I'm so jealous. I really will.
Yeah, and it's cool because they've obviously, they've expanded the game and added more to the story that they couldn't do with the original PS version. And, it's just like I've seen some mixed reviews on some of the things that they're not changes, they're just additives, and that's kind of my viewpoint. It's like this made it so much better, this whole, this whole mission and this whole scene. And you get to know like some of these like Biggs and Wedge and Jesse, more in the game than you would get out of it originally. So I'm excited to keep going on it, and it's just it's so good. Yeah, and it's just so like the animation obviously is just incredible.
Yeah, that's great. I can't wait to get into it. It's a game that I like I told you, I'm gonna do it. It's requires a lot of time and attention, and I want to be able to just kind of focus on that rather than being distracted or this and that. But I have it on my list. I can't wait. And honestly, you sending me, no lie, you sent me some of the screenshots while you were playing, and I watched a couple of boss fights on Twitch, and my arm hair was standing up. It looks so stinking cool.
Yeah,
it looked like fun. Final Fantasy Advent Children, except an actual game.
Yeah. No, it's awesome, and they've changed the whole voice cast from Advent Children in the different games that they've had those, but they're good. I mean, it's really good. All the voices are good, and you can tell the character personality comes out in the voice acting and things like that. So it's fun, and the battle system is really good. I like turn-based games, but now playing these type of games like the action RPG is just so much more fun and interesting to me, because you're actually running around on a battlefield taking out some of these guys. It was turn-based back in the day, so it's cool. I can't wait for Weston especially to play it, because it'll be your first time, and Aaron, whenever you can get around to it as well. It's just one of those games that it's cool, because like I was talking, like you could get it and like play it at night and break it up into chapters and things like that, or you could sit down and play the whole thing all at once. So it can kind of go either way with the game. So it's fun. It's cool.
Nice. Yeah, it's it'll be good to get into. Can't wait.
Yes. Yep. Cool. Well, just wanted to touch on that for a little bit. There's not a whole lot of gaming news coming out of the world right now, but one thing that Google has done for people is Stadia is free till basically June for 2 months.
If you'd like to send us a message,
and I know,
you can
Aaron,
email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.
Free. I'm actually fairly sure it's not for like this month and next month per se, but like if you didn't sign up until next month, it's just that they launched the free version of Stadia. So if you're listening and you're not familiar with Stadia, essentially it's their streaming platform service. I've had it since launch. It's fantastic for me. I have stable internet. I have 100 megabyte a second internet. If you have kind of crappy internet, it might not be perfect for you. However, there's the pro version of Stadia, which is like $10 a month. They give you like anywhere from 2 to 3 games for free every single month. They're all really good games. I've got a bunch of stuff that I still need to play actually. But I mean they're all fantastic, like multiple AAA games. Tomb Raider 1 and 2, Grid. I've got Destiny 2. I've been playing SteamWorld, Hand of Gilgamesh, which is amazingly fun. It's kind of an indie studio game, but anyways, it's I think it's revolutionary. I mean, I know there's a lot of people that hate on Stadia and think it's stupid and Google's gonna flush it at some point. But I mean, I think it's just an amazing platform. I can be playing it on the TV, and my wife will walk into the room and say, "Hey, I want to watch a show," and so I'll pause it on the TV, flip it over to the laptop or my phone, and just keep playing.
Yeah.
It takes 3 seconds. It's seamless. There's
Yeah.
no downloads or anything like that, so I don't have to worry about storage space on the computer or anything. I mean, it's been fantastic all the way around.
Yeah, I think it's good too. Like you gave me your buddy pass, and I used that, and I played I played it quite a bit. I played like Farming Simulator and some of the other games that were on there for free, which Farming Simulator is just fun anyway. It's another one of those chill games, but so I quite enjoyed it, and I started my subscription up again for the free. I'll play Grid and things like that, but as far as it's like you said, the accessibility or the mobility of it, if you're a Google device user, is good. I think the only problem with it is the accessibility to the rest of the world, like the iPhone users. And I know they say they're coming with it and things like that, but I think to turn your Apple TV or your Fire Stick or whatever into a gaming console, I think that is where their bread and butter is going to be eventually.
Yeah. So right now they actually did update the firmware on newer Android TVs. It might not necessarily work with older Android TVs, but newer Android TVs, you don't need the Chromecast anymore. You can use Stadia directly on the TV, which is sick. Cool. And then you can play it in anything that can run a Chrome browser. You can use it on. I don't think iPhones. I think you are correct. I don't think iPhones will still work. But they
and it's funny because they locked it out. At launch, it would work on my iPad, but then they locked that feature out for some reason. So.
Yeah, they did. And I'm not 100% sure why. Because if the tech's there, they might as well keep it. But
do you have a Google Chrome on your iPad?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and it still won't work.
Yeah, it worked at launch, and then they locked it out like a few days later. I guess they realized, this does work on an iPad or something.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And it might work now. I think it should. But yeah, I mean, basically, like I said, anything that can run Google Chrome, and then you got Chromecast on the TV and Pixel phones, and I think there's 2 other phones right now that they've launched it out to. And then you can use any controller too. Like you don't have to have the Stadia controller, which is really nice. The Stadia controller's amazing. It's probably actually my favorite controller I've ever had. But,
people were loving that thing.
Yeah, it's insane. The only thing I don't necessarily, it's a double-edged sword, is the triggers on it are crazy sensitive. Like,
oh, really?
Yeah, I mean, like if you touch it, your gun's going off or whatever you're doing. It's absurd.
Yeah, I think with them, I think titles would be one thing to work out, and then also just the accessibility of it for iPhone users or whatever. If you don't have an Android device, you really have to just play it on a computer, which that's fine too. But I'd love to just sit down with my Apple TV or my Fire Stick in the other room and play some games on it.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, but realistic, I completely agree with you because it should be. I mean, as they've learned developing games, right? Besides the Microsoft or the directly Sony games, everything is cross-platform now, so you can just play it on whatever you have or whatever you want, and that's the way it should be.
Right. Yeah.
But realistically, the only thing you need is like a Chromecast or or like a Chromecast Ultra, and they're so cheap. Like it's not. That's a pretty small gate to start. Getting the actual platform.
No, you're exactly right. Because the thing is like, I mean, even just the intro package is $120, and that's the Chromecast and the controller. And then you've got it for 2 months for free for the Pro. So you're I mean, right there you're basically getting like 6 games for free or however many it is, right? I think right now there's like 8 games for free, and they're all, like I said, they're all really good games. So
I haven't paid a dime for it, and I've got like 9 or 10 games in my in my queue, so that's pretty cool.
Yeah, I bought Final Fantasy 15 and it was $20 on sale, and then I bought Division 2 and that was $10 on sale. And that's the thing, is if you're a pro member, I mean, they do sales all the time. They'll do like flash sales that are like 75% off new games. So it's like you can always find a good deal on there.
Yeah, it's the way of the world with Microsoft opening up their service, to the world, and then obviously PS Now. It's just kind of streaming games is, I think I don't think it's in such a competitive realm yet, but I think it eventually will get there as internet connections get better.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So the reason that that this is going to be a thing is because Microsoft is coming out with something that's they already have a kind of a version of this, but with especially the next generation consoles, they basically have like, unless you're playing the like something that has like ray tracing or high 4K 8K video games that will be supported on the next like Xbox One X, you can have there's going to be a service that's just like this or similar. So the technology's there, and definitely it's super impressive. Probably the biggest thing with this, or even the new one, is there's always going to be either one or two that went out. There's always a lot of like pop-ups that are going to come.
Yeah.
So right now I think there's like 120 games for Stadia. If that number continues to grow and there's support, like user support, then it'll be around here forever. But the technology that like Google has made or is using, or Microsoft is going to use, very similar. Like it's going to be around here, because the ability to not have 2 terabyte, like to not have your games 2 terabytes on your hard drive and clog it up and have have to, and still be able to play like a 4K game that's being, from my understanding, is it's using these supercomputers that's basically, and then the algorithm, like it has the game, it's doing it, and then it's broadcasting it back to you so quickly or simultaneously that there's hardly any input lag. So you're getting like this amazing experience without needing like a $2,000 computer or a $600 PS4. So it's pretty awesome.
Exactly. You're exactly correct. And that's the thing is, I mean, there's like, for me, there's virtually no input lag whatsoever.
Nice.
If there is, it's because there's a storm out and everybody else is using Netflix in the house or whatever. What I mean? Like, there's just no lag. It's super smooth. I think really the only downfall of it is that you have to be connected to the internet. But that's probably 80% of gaming nowadays anyway. Yeah, so it's like, what's the
Everybody
difference?
has it.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I think it's cool. I think it's definitely it's fun, and if you haven't tried it out, this is a good chance. There's some free stuff to play, and play the pro and check it out. So anyway, I think
Google give us money.
yeah, for sure. So let's I think, unless you guys have anything else to talk about, let's get to our trivia.
Woohoo!
We are back. So me and Weston talked this over, and since Aaron lost, you're gonna have to take on Weston this week.
Okay, that's cool. Even though I technically didn't lose, I think I was cheated, but it's fine.
Okay.
Actually, I listened to the re-recording to see if I was cheated or not, but the way the lag worked in some of those instances, it was correct. I did lose.
Yeah. No, I know.
I know you. I know. I
really didn't cheat. I didn't cheat you. I swear. Like if all those dings, like they were close, but whenever, I swear that like Mason was faster than you on 2 of them.
Yeah, if it wasn't, it's the power of editing. Just makes me look good.
Exactly.
All right. Just kidding. Okay, so we got 10 questions, and these are kind of all over the map. They're not totally hard. So. But we got 10, and that's all. And we'll start, cue the music. And here we go. You ready?
Let's do it.
Let's do it.
Are we doing the same rules, ding?
Yeah, just ding.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Okay.
All right. So, you got to let me get through the question. And if you want to buzz in the, I guess in the multiple choice, you can. Okay. So, in Uncharted 4, which PlayStation 1 title does Nathan Drake play? A, Tomb Raider. B, Final Fantasy VII. C, Crash Bandicoot. D, Mortal Kombat.
Ding.
Aaron.
Crash Bandicoot.
Yep, that's right.
They're made by the same studio.
I know.
All right, here we go. So moving on to question 2. Aaron 1, Weston 0. How many power stars can you collect in Super Mario 64? A, 100. B, 120. C, 110.
Ding.
D, 101. Aaron.
120.
That is correct.
Oh my god.
Okay, so question 3. In what year was the first game in the Halo series released? 2002, B, 2003, C, 2001, D, 2000.
Ding.
Weston.
2002.
That is false. Aaron.
I'm gonna swing and say 2003.
That is also false. Weston. It's between 2001 and 2000. You want to try it again?
2001.
That's it. Ding ding.
Yes.
All right.
Dude, I
was.
was for sure it was 2002. Oh well. I was really close. Those were all obviously like clumped together, so there wasn't any. It wasn't like 1976, 1990, and 2001.
I think Halo actually did come out in 1976. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. If you want to believe that, then okay.
It was dreamt.
All right, so question 4, moving along here. Who features on the cover of UFC 2 alongside Ronda Rousey? A, Conor McGregor.
Ding,
B,
Conor McGregor.
That's correct. Woo! All tied up. We are back in this.
That's my boy right there. That's my boy.
Yeah. Okay. So, question number 5. What is the highest selling home console of all time?
Ding.
Ding.
Weston.
It's the Nintendo Wii.
False. Okay, you want the
I would like
answers.
the multiple choice, yes.
Okay, so A, Atari 2600. B, Xbox 360. C, PlayStation 2. D, Nintendo Wii.
PlayStation 2.
That is correct.
Man, I was going to say the Wii, too, so I'm glad you dug in before me.
Oh.
All right,
dang,
3-2. 3-2. Question number 6. In the Legend of Zelda, The Wind Waker, how many Triforce shards do you have to collect? A, 3, B, 8, C, 6, D, 9.
Ding?
Aaron.
3?
False.
Ding, 9.
False.
6?
We obviously never played Wind Waker, so I automatically win, right?
Yeah, we'll just, I guess we could cross that one off. I don't know, because you would guess 8, and that was the correct answer. Okay. How does that work?
Okay.
What are we doing?
Okay.
I don't know. I feel like if we both get it wrong, we should just nix it from now on.
Okay.
I think
All
so
right.
too. That's fine. Yeah, we don't need to go down and down. Let's just if we both get it wrong, no getting it.
Yeah, I never played
like
Wind
that.
Waker. I was just thinking there's 3 parts to the
I definitely
Triforce,
did,
you know.
but I didn't finish it. That game was stinking
Well,
massive. Like
yeah,
it
that's
normally
true.
are.
I actually did play it, but I wasn't a fan.
And that's funny because that's like the only
Yeah.
Zelda game I've ever beaten. So I knew that answer right off. Yeah.
Really?
Well,
I've beaten every other Zelda game except Majora's Mask and Wind Waker. Those
I
are only
beat
two I've
Link to
never
the
beat.
Past. I did beat that one. So. Okay, so it is currently 2-3. Aaron is leading. All right, so number 7. What console was the first Final Fantasy game released on? A.
Ding.
Aaron.
Nintendo. NES. Nintendo Entertainment System.
That is correct. Ding, 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 ding. All right, so 4-2.
I knew that too, by the way.
Okay, let me read this one before I mess it up. Okay, so question number 8. In Overwatch, what was D.Va's former profession? A, professional skateboarder. B, professional gamer. C, professional footballer. D, professional wrestler.
Ding.
Aaron.
Professional gamer.
That is correct. Ding, ding, ding.
Ah, nice. You play that game?
I play that game too much.
Yeah, I was about to say. I was like, I've definitely played that game a lot, but I haven't kept up with the lore. Okay, man.
Okay,
I mean,
so
crushed.
it is 2-5.
4.
2-5,
2 to
yeah.
5.
And there's 2 questions left, so.
Ooh, so I technically win, but let's do this thing.
Okay, so
Wait. You don't have a double Jeopardy question? We gotta have the double Jeopardy.
I only got 10 questions, but I'll find something. Don't worry. Okay. So, number 9 in the Metroid series, what was the name of the main protagonist? A. Solid Snake.
Ding.
Aaron.
Samus Aran.
That is correct. All right. So, this is it. This is the last question. Who is the creator of the Super Mario Brothers series? Shigeru Miyamoto. B. Hideo Kojima. C. Ralph Baer.
Ding,
That's
Miyamoto.
correct. All right.
Boom. Okay, let's
All
get
right,
double Jeopardy.
Weston's like, I need a chance.
I need a chance.
There's a chance. Okay, I'm gonna give you. Let's see. Let me find this one I had. These do not have multiple choice to them.
All right. We haven't been using it much anyway, so it's fine.
Yeah. All right. I'll give you. Should I do 2 or 1?
Just do 1. Wait, how much
You're
am I behind?
Let's see. Aaron has 6 or 7. Right?
And I
Yeah,
have
6
3.
to 3
I
because
have
we
3.
missed 1. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, 6 to 3. Yeah. So this is worth 4 points. Is that what you're trying to go for?
No. I think he just.
Okay.
Fine, he wins.
Do the
Good
question.
job.
Do the question. Do the question.
All right. Okay.
That's not fair.
Here it is. Ready? Most of us has played Atari games. What does the word Atari mean?
Oh, I know
Okay.
this one. Oh my god.
Say it.
Isn't it? Well, never mind. I have no idea. Is it an acronym, or does it mean something?
No, it means something. Oh, hold on.
Do.
I'm not looking it up
Okay.
on my computer, by the way.
I'm looking it up on my phone.
Um,
Hey Google,
can't
what does
remember.
Atari mean?
it didn't tell you?
Oh, it told me.
What do you know what it is?
It means to hit the target
No.
or to receive something fortuitously.
Success is the actual meaning. But all right.
So receive something fortuitously.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right. Well, that's it. So next week, I'm the reigning champ currently.
Good job, Aaron.
So it's,
So it's
me.
yeah. So basically, here's the deal. Here's what happened: is Aaron went to the loser bracket.
But I won.
Wait, no, we all
Yeah.
played one round. So Aaron won one, and you won
So
one.
I have to play Weston next.
No,
So
I
you
gotta.
guys- Okay.
So we gotta play you, and then if I beat you, then
You gotta beat Aaron.
I gotta beat
How
Aaron.
does
Wait,
this
no.
work?
This is
Yeah, because Aaron lost to you. I don't know. We're gonna
Yeah,
figure out a
yeah,
bracket
we'll figure
system.
that out.
But all I know is I'm like Aaron lost and I lost, but Aaron won one as well.
Yeah.
So
All right.
Yeah.
All
I don't
right.
know if we have a grudge yet. We'll figure it out.
Well, we'll figure it out. All I know is Aaron has some questions ready for next time.
I'll see what I can do.
All right.
They're gonna be hard.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So we're gonna wrap it up here, but before we do that, next week's game, I had come with the suggestion of Simpsons Road Rage. That was a PlayStation 2, GameCube, sort of ish that area. So I thought it was fun.
Okay.
It's like Crazy Taxis, but The Simpsons.
So we're just doing like pre-PS2 games on this podcast. Is that the
pre
deal?
Yeah.
PS3.
PS3.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, because technically PS3. I mean, it's only technically one generation back.
Right,
so
yeah.
it's PS2 and back would still be considered
Like a retro.
Retro.
game.
Okay.
It's over. I mean, what is PS2 like? 20. 10
Yeah,
years?
over 10 years.
PS2.
PS2
Oh,
is
yeah.
like 20 years. 2002
Yeah.
Yes.
is when I got mine.
So
Yeah.
I mean, yeah. If you're looking at technicalities, like in a car, anything over 20 years is
Yeah.
considered an antique.
Mhm,
So same
mhm.
thing like with games. I
Yeah,
think we've
that's
been going.
cool.
Okay, that's fair.
So, is Simpsons Road Rage good with you guys? If I remember
Yeah,
this
sure.
game being really fun. So, yeah, we'll do that, and maybe we can work it out to play that one together too. That'd be fun.
Oh, is it multiplayer?
Yeah,
Heck
yeah. There's like a battle mode type. Like you got to pick up the most people in the amount of time, kind of thing. So, and it's pretty funny too.
Nice.
So.
All right.
Coolio. All right. Well, unless you guys have anything else to say, I have to go. So,
Yeah, me too. You can always gonna murder me if I don't.
all right, guys.
Oh man. Well, I will collect the insurance checks from both of you.
All right,
while we're
sounds
doing
good. I left
Joke's
everything
on
to
you.
you.
I don't have life insurance.
I left everything to you anyway, Weston. So joke's on her.
Yes.
I'm kidding.
Sweet.
Okay. All right. We'll see you next week. Bye. Bye.
Bye.
Later.
If you'd like to send us a message, you can email us at kitgpodcast@gmail.com or tweet us at kitgpodcast on Twitter.